In childhood, they look like ordinary foxes, but upon reaching 50 years of age, they can transform or possess a human. In human form, these foxes seduce people, draining their life energy. This makes them stronger, which is marked by the appearance of an additional tail. The more experienced and older the fox, the more tails it has, with a maximum of 9. Stories of fox spirits are widespread in China, Korea, Japan, and even Vietnam. In China, they were known as Ho Ly Tinh. For instance, the nine-tailed fox from the Shanhai Jing, written around the 4th century BC, states, "The land of blue hills lies to the north where the inhabitants consume the 5 grains, wear silk and worship foxes that have 4 legs and 9 tails." The mentioned land of the Blue Hills is an ancient poetic name for Korea. The Korean name for the fox shapeshifter is Kumiho. In ancient Korean mythology, the Kumiho is almost always an evil demon that feeds on human flesh. Sometimes, they are not embodiments of evil but merely striving to become higher beings, for which they consume humans or steal their souls. However, this terrifying creature can fall in love with a human and decide not to eat them. A Kumiho that refrains from consuming humans for 1,000 days becomes human. Such a legend forms the basis of the Korean drama The Tale of the Nine-Tailed. Another unique trait of the Kumiho is their possession of knowledge beads made from fox marble. If a person swallows such a bead, they gain magical wisdom. Across 3 seas from Korea, in Vietnam, we find similar legends about nine-tailed foxes called Ho Ly Tinh. In a 14th century treatise Linh Nam Chich K, we find one such legend. The nine-tailed fox transforms into a beautiful girl to seduce men or into a handsome youth to flirt with village girls. It is defeated with great difficulty, and its grave is now the modern West Lake in Hanoi. The most famous of the nine-tailed foxes is the Japanese Kitsune. They often appear in Japanese anime, and when we speak of nine-tailed foxes, we usually think of Kitsune. To transform into a human, Kitsune, who live for thousands of years, must reach a certain age, 50, 100, or sometimes even 500 years. Inexperienced foxes, during their initial transformations, cannot hide their tails. Legends tell of men seduced by beautiful women who discovered a fluffy tail the next morning and were horrified. Japanese Kitsune are associated with the goddess Inari, who was originally a goddess of fertility. According to Japanese mythology, during a terrible famine, Inari descended from the heavens on a white fox and saved the people. Thus, her servants, the fox spirits, appeared on earth. They are divided into 3 ranks, and to ascend in rank, a fox must practice magical arts, including transformations. Inari herself is now also depicted in temples as a white or black fox. However, some Kitsune do not serve Inari. These foxes transform into women and approach the status of celestial foxes by seducing men. In ancient Japanese, Kitsune translates to always coming, while Kitsune means come and sleep. As you can see, in Japan, Kitsune are not always evil spirits. They can be neutral or even benevolent, helping people, as depicted in this print by Ogata Gecko. Another common theme in Japanese legends is the tragic love story with a kitsune. In these tales, a husband or lover accidentally discovers the true nature of the kitsune, after which the fox must leave him forever. You can identify a kitsune not only by its tail or fox ears, which young foxes struggle to hide. Kitsune has a strong addiction to rich, tasty food, especially fried rats, and cannot resist such a treat. If a dog barks at a beautiful woman, you can be sure it's a kitsune. Dogs have an excellent sense of smell, and foxes cannot conceal their true nature from them. Finally, Kitsune possesses a fiery temperament and loves various amusements, which is often why they transform into humans. The most famous fox spirit in China is Daishō, who was a real historical figure. She was the wife of Emperor Zhou, who loved her madly. According to the treatises Fengshen Yeni and Lai Guizhi, this cruel nine-tailed fox loved to torture people daily, which eventually led to the fall of the Shang dynasty. Tamamo-no-Mae was a geisha who lived at the court of the Japanese Emperor Toba. He was utterly infatuated with her and kept her close by at all times. As a result, he fell ill. However, a court astrologer exposed her, forcing her to flee. She was eventually caught and killed by the emperor's samurai, but she possessed a stone called Seishō. This stone emits poisonous hydrogen sulfide gas, which has caused several deaths. The legend of the stone possessed by the nine-tailed fox spirit took an unexpected turn in February 2022. Cracks appeared in the stone, and on March 5th, it split open. Japanese social media was flooded with panic, fearing that the soul of the evil fox had escaped once again. As you can see, the story of the fantastic nine-tailed fox continues to live on even today.